Diplomats' Archives Hidden Stories. This is Special Edition Part 1. What is a nation? And what is a government? In 1910, Korea was forcibly annexed by Japan, losing its independence and sovereignty. As a result, Korea lost the right to govern itself, and the Korean people could no longer live according to their own will. During the period when Korea could no longer exist as a nation, the Provisional Government of the Republic of Korea emerged. It acted as a diplomat simply by existing, announcing the presence of Korea to the world. The Provisional Government of the Republic of Korea was established in Shanghai on April 11, 1919. It was the first government to officially declare the name Republic of Korea to the international community and to proclaim it as a democratic republic, formally announcing Korea's independence. And since 2019, Korea has officially commemorated April 11th as the anniversary of the foundation of the Korean Provisional Government. On this occasion, we will begin a 3-week series bringing you the hidden stories of the Provisional Government of the Republic of Korea.
여보세요?
네. 안녕하세요. 저 흥사단에서 일하고 있는 이갑준 국장입니다.
네.
One day, our team received a phone call. It was from the Young Korean Academy, Hungsadan, as it's known in Korean. During the Japanese colonial period, Hungsadan emerged as a prominent youth movement led by independence activist An Chang-ho, dedicated to the pursuit of Korea's independence and national prosperity. Since its founding in 1913, Hungsadan has kept its spirit alive through youth education, civic activism, and a wide range of social initiatives.
흥사단 독립유공자 후손돕기본부에서 저희가 독립유공자 후손 고등학생과 대학생들과 함께 저희가 해외 독립운동 유적지 탐방을 해요. 그래서 혹시 히든 스토리 팀에서 같이 동행하시면서 같이 담아주실 수 있을지 해서.
Each year, Hungsadan organizes programs with the descendants of independence activists, following in the footsteps of Korea's freedom fighters. This year, it plans a trip to China, giving participants the chance to witness the history of the Provisional Government of the Republic of Korea up close. We were instantly intrigued. From a diplomatic program's point of view, we realized that when Korea's sovereignty was taken by Japan, the Provisional Government of the Republic of Korea was the sole legitimate authority serving as a diplomat that brought the lost Korea to the attention of the world. And the surviving traces of the Provisional Government stand as an important archive of Korea's fight for independence. And so, we chose to take them up on their offer. On January 26th, our journey began at Incheon International Airport. Before boarding the plane to China, our team had a brief conversation with the descendants of independence activists participating in this program.
이 프로그램에는 어떤 계기로 참여하게 됐어요?
저희 증조 할아버지가 독립유공자셔가지고 좀 독립 유적지에 관심을 가지기도 했고
제일 기대되는 곳이 있어요?
홍커 공원이 가장 기대가 큽니다. 그곳에서 이 25살이라는 젊은 나이에 큰 이제 거사를 결심하게 됐던 계기와 또 그분의 인생을 경험하는 시간이 되길 바랍니다.
지금 여행 떠나기 직전인데 기분이 어때요?
사실 굉장히 설레고 이번에 가는 곳들이 임시정부 경로를 따라서 함께 가는 거다 보니까 정말 그때 독립운동가 분들의 발자취를 곳에 따라가면서 또 기억할 수 있는 의미 있는 시간이 될 것 같아서 기대하고 있습니다.
Among the participants was someone whose ancestor had been involved with the provisional government in Korea's fight for independence.
거기 임시정부가 있다고 하니까 거기서 또 할아버지가 또 독립운동 하셨다고 들었어가지고 거기서 하셨던 일을 보면은 좀 뭔가 제 삶에도 좀 뭔가 오는 게 있지 않을까 라는 생각을 하고 있습니다.
On March 1st, 1919, the March 1st independence movement broke out across Korea in defiance of Japanese colonial rule, sweeping the nation with calls for independence. This massive movement quickly spread throughout the country. Amid this wave, a central body was urgently needed to unite Koreans' will and lead it in an organized way. Multiple provisional governments were established across Primorsky Krai, Shanghai, Seoul, and other regions. In the absence of a proper nation or government, these temporary governments were created to represent the people and restore the nation. However, operating separately, the provisional governments faced numerous problems. It was unclear which government held legitimacy. Each pursued different policies, and none had full international recognition. In this context, it became urgent to unify the provisional governments. At the time, An Chang-ho, who served as the Minister of the Interior in the Shanghai-based provisional government, took the lead in establishing a unified government. After repeated discussions with various leaders, a final agreement was reached. The governments in Shanghai and the Primorsky Krai would be dissolved. The Seoul-based government would be succeeded in Shanghai, and the unified government would be named the Provisional Government of the Republic of Korea. And in September 1919, the unified provisional government, named the Provisional Government of Republic of Korea, was officially established in Shanghai.
Shanghai is located about 900 kilometers from Korea. Today, it takes only about 3 hours by plane, but over 100 years ago, traveling from Korea to Shanghai required at least 2 to 3 days by land and sea. Upon arriving in Shanghai, we headed straight to the historic site of the Provisional Government of the Republic of Korea. Located at number 4, Lane 306, Madang Road, Huangpu District, Shanghai, this was the last remaining office of the Provisional Government of the Republic of Korea in Shanghai before it relocated to another city. But at this point, a question arises. Why was the unified provisional government established in Shanghai, China, rather than in Korea? We put this question to him.
흥사단 독립유공자 후손돕기 운동본부 상임대표 나정목입니다.
Mr. Na Jong-mok is one of the people who originally initiated the program our team joined this time, titled Overseas Independence Movement Heritage Tour with the Descendants of Independence Activists.
중국도 근대화 과정에서 서양 세력의 많은 침략을 겪었고 또 그런 고초를 겪었습니다. 그러는 가운데 중국은 그래도 1911년 신해혁명이 일어나고 마지막 황제인 푸이를 쫓아내면서 민주공화국을 수립을 합니다. 아시아에서 첫 번째 민주공화국이 중화민국이죠. 그 과정을 지켜본 우리 독립운동가들도 우리나라가 왕이 주인인 제국이 아니라 백성이 주인인 민국을 만들고자 하는 꿈을 꿨죠. 그래서 상해에 대한민국 임시정부를 만든 겁니다. 대한민국의 이름을 제안하신 분은 신규식 선생입니다. 여운형 선생이나 도산 안창호 선생 등이 왜 망한 나라의 이름을 새로운 나라로 만들려고 하느냐 했을 때 신규식 선생은 망한 나라니까 다시 그 나라를 되일으켜보자 하는 말씀을 하셨습니다. 그래서 대한민국이 됐고
Shin Kyu-sik, who proposed the name Republic of Korea, was also a key figure behind Shanghai emerging as a major base for Korean independence activists. A former officer of the Korean Empire, he went into exile in Shanghai in 1911 to dedicate himself to the independence movement. Having also participated in China's Xinhai Revolution, Shin Kyu-sik interacted with many Chinese revolutionary figures, raising awareness of Korea's need for independence and building a support for the independence movement in China. Through these efforts, he helped broaden Korea's international connections and solidarity, which ultimately provided an important foundation for the provisional government of the Republic of Korea to operate in China. But this is not the only reason why the Korean provisional government was established in Shanghai. There was another significant factor behind it.
상해는 우리 임시정부가 시작을 해서 또 가장 오랫동안 활동을 했던 지역입니다. 1919년부터 1932년까지니까 14년간 우리 활동이 있었죠. 프랑스 조계지였으니까 그 당시 프랑스가 자유평등 박애를 이념으로 내세우면서 해외 독립운동을 했던 그런 단체들에 대해서 상당한 뒷받침을 해줬고 그 부분이 안전하다고 생각을 해서 우리 독립운동가들이 그 자리에 독립운동 임시정부를 세웠습니다.
At the time, engaging in the independence movement within Korea was unimaginably difficult, as Japanese police and military authorities constantly carried out repression, arrests, torture, and executions. Among the participants in this program were several descendants whose ancestors had suffered for the independence movement and gone into exile in China.
정태영 독립운동가 후손인 원준희입니다. 증조 할아버지가 일단은 민족개몽운동에 뛰어들었다가 나중에 이제 1919년 3월 1일에 3.1 이제 운동이 일어나는데 그 다음 날이 이제 3월 2일에 고종 장례식 때를 해서 보신각에서 종을 직접 치셨다고 해요. 그래서 주도하시다가 서대문 형무소에 수감되셔서 있다가 나중에 풀려나시고 그리고 나서 청년 외교단 활동을 또 하셨대요. 그리고 그렇게 활동을 하시다가 나중에 다시 한번 일제한테 잡혀가지고 그때 이제 대구 형무소로 다시 수감이 되어서 그때 좀 많은 모진 고문들을 받았다고 하고요. 그리고 나서 1년 뒤쯤인가 그때 이제 풀려나서 중국으로 망명해서 이제 독립운동을 이어가시다가
Like Junhi's great-grandfather, many independence activists sought safer places abroad to continue their work. One of the destinations they chose was Shanghai. And at the time, Shanghai had a French concession, a unique district within Chinese territory where France independently administered its own laws and governance. Japanese police continued to monitor independence activists in Shanghai. However, within the concession, extraterritoriality limited their ability to intervene freely. As a result, activists were able to operate there relatively safely. The last office of the Provisional Government of the Republic of Korea in Shanghai was also located within the French concession. Here, we could see for ourselves that many French-style buildings from that era still remain.
On September 11, 1919, the Unified Provisional Government of the Republic of Korea promulgated a revised constitution and reorganized its governmental structure. With Lee Seung-man as the provisional president and Lee Dong-hui as prime minister, a cabinet was reorganized, comprising various ministries including the Interior, Foreign Affairs, Military Affairs, Finance, Justice, Education, and Transportation. The main activities of the Provisional Government of the Republic of Korea were as follows. First, diplomatic efforts. The Provisional Government established the Korean Commission in the United States and in France to introduce Korea as a nation and its desire for independence to the international community while working to secure diplomatic support. Beyond that, the Provisional Government continued its diplomatic efforts with China and Russia, while connecting with Korean communities around the world to spread Korea's determination for independence. Next, military activities. To carry on the armed struggle for independence, the Provisional Government organized and supported independence forces. In particular, it coordinated with independence fighters operating in Manchuria and the Primorsky Krai, building a military foundation to continue armed resistance against Japan. Next, financial activities. Raising funds for the independence movement was one of the Provisional Government's most important tasks. To this end, they collected donations from Korean communities both within the country and abroad. These funds played a crucial role in sustaining the Provisional Government's operations and supporting the ongoing struggle for independence. Next, educational and awareness campaigns. Through newspapers, proclamations, and other documents, they informed people about Korea's situation and its struggle for independence. Media outlets such as the Dongnip Shinmun, which is called the Independent in English, helped strengthen unity among Korean communities both in Korea and abroad.
세계 각국으로 망명을 갔던 독립운동가들이 다시 힘을 모아서 우리나라를 찾고자 하는 노력을 했고 그러한 결실로 시작된 게 임시정부죠. 상해 임시정부는 우리나라에서 가까운 지역이었기 때문에 이곳에 설립이 됐다고 생각이 되지만은 또 우리나라를 수복을 하는데도 가장 힘이 될 수 있는 지역이었던 것으로 생각이 됩니다.
In front of the historic site of the Provisional Government of the Republic of Korea in Shanghai, far more people than we expected were waiting to visit. We slipped into the crowd and entered the historic site. The building has 3 floors. The first floor housed the kitchen and meeting rooms. The second floor held the offices. And the third floor contained the living quarters. The old stairs creaked as we climbed, and the rooms were much smaller than expected. At the time, around 10 to 20 people lived here. Seeing the space through that lens, it's clear how cramped and harsh the conditions must have been. Including our team, many participants found themselves reflecting on the hardships that independence activists must have endured in their fight for independence.
어떤 임시 정부라고 하기에는 되게 좀 규모가 작은 느낌으로 되게 봤는데 그런 거 보면은 좀 우리 이제 선조분들이 얼마나 좀 열심히 이제 노력하고 그런 비좁은 곳에서 이제 많은 고생을 했는지 좀 느끼게 됐던 것 같습니다.
While touring the building, Juni recalled his great-grandfather, who carried out the independence movement far from home.
이제 할머니가 저희 아버지한테 해주셨던 말 중에 가끔씩 이제 그 고문 같은 것 때문에 막 갑자기 발작을 일으키시던가 뭐 그런 적이 가끔 있으셨다고 해요. 그런 이제 국가를 위해서 그렇게 희생하셨다가 이제 또 그렇게 여러 PTSD 같은 거를 좀 느끼게 되셨던 것 때문에 마음이 좀 많이 안 좋습니다.
As mentioned earlier, Yugon's great-grandfather was personally involved in the activities of the Korean Provisional Government in Shanghai.
독립유공자 정수기의 외증손자인 정유건이라고 합니다. 상하이 임시정부에서 이제 일을 하시다가 한번 이제 그 일본 순사 이제 잡히셔가지고 이제 옥살이 하시다가 2년 6개월 동안 옥살이 하시다가 나오셔가지고 이제 너무 많은 고문을 받고 하셔가지고 그래서 나오시자 거의 뭐 바로 돌아가신 걸로 알고 있습니다. 할머니께서 설명해 주시기를 경주 땅의 대부분이 이제 할아버지가 가지고 계셨다. 그래서 이제 경주를 지나가려면 할아버지 땅을 밟지 않고서는 갈 수가 없다 이렇게 말씀하셨는데 그 땅을 이제 다 팔고 이제 독립운동원에 다 쓰셨다 이렇게 말씀하신 게 제가 기억이 납니다.
When Yugon shared the news that he would be participating in this program, his grandmother personally wrote down stories about his great-grandfather and gave them to him.
간다고 하니까 할머니께서 이제 이런 거 한번 정리해서 읽어보라고 이게 보내주신 거거든요. 그래서 제가 부탁한 건 아니고 할머니께서 그래도 그 이제 중국 가서 그런 거 하는데 한번 할아버지 돼서 한번 읽어봐라 이렇게 해서 주신 거라서.
Inside, Yugon seemed to be searching for something. What was it that he was looking for?
사실 오늘 그 상하이 임시정부를 갔다 왔는데 그래서 사진 한 장쯤은 있지 않을까라고 생각해서 이름 한 글자 정도 있지 않을까 해서 갔는데 사실 좀 제가 못 찾은 건지 모르겠지만은 좀 뭔가 없어서 뭔가 뭔가 섭섭하다 또 그런 느낌도 드는 것 같고.
Beyond the independence activists we remember today, countless others devoted their bodies and minds to the cause of Korea's independence. Yet, compared to their numbers, it made us wonder if the names and incidents we remember today are far too few.
In 1931, Japan, having invaded and occupied Manchuria, established the puppet state of Manchukuo. From this point on, Japan's aggression in China became even more blatant. In this situation, the provisional government felt the need to take more proactive measures to demonstrate Korea's determination for independence. In December 1931, led by Kim Gu, a key figure of the provisional government, a secret independence group called the Korean Patriotic Organization was established. The Korean Patriotic Organization was intended to serve as a strategic tool. Through special operations targeting high-ranking Japanese officials, it aimed to counter Japanese rule and aggression, demonstrate Korea's determination for independence, and draw international attention to the cause. On January 8, 1932, Lee Bong-chang, a member of the Korean Patriotic Organization, carried out a bomb attack on the carriage of the Emperor of Japan in Tokyo. Although the attack failed, it sent shockwaves through Japanese society. And shortly after, a single event occurred that would mark a decisive turning point in the history of the Provisional Government of the Republic of Korea. On April 29, 1932, at Hanko Park in Shanghai, a ceremony was held to commemorate the Japanese emperor and Japan's military leadership. Several high-ranking Japanese officials attended the event, including the commander of Japanese forces in Shanghai and Japan's diplomats stationed in China. The young Yoon Bong-gil, disguised as an ordinary citizen, stepped into the venue carrying a lunchbox and a water bottle, each concealing a bomb. Approaching near the podium, he threw the prepared explosives, causing a powerful explosion. The explosion killed the Japanese commander of forces stationed in Shanghai, and several other Japanese military officers and officials were seriously injured. The incident sent shockwaves through Japan, both militarily and politically.
만약 대한민국 임시정부가 1919년에 수립되지 않았다면 광복을 맞이할 때까지 우리 민족과 우리 국민들의 노력은 한낱 테러리스트 활동으로 전락할 수가 있거든요. 다시 말해서 안중근 의사를 비롯해서 이봉창 의사, 윤봉길 의사 이런 여러 또 만주에서 일어났던 청산리 전투, 봉오동 전투 이러한 것들이 몇몇 사람의 저항, 다시 말해서 테러로 취급을 받을 수가 있거든요. 그렇지만은 정부라는 게 있으면은 거기에 대한 명분이 있게 되는 것이고 그분들의 활동이 바로 자기 나라와 민족을 위한 활동이었던 행동이었던 것으로 명분을 얻게 되는 것이죠.
This is Hanko Park in Shanghai. It's hard to believe that over 100 years ago, Yoon Bong-gil's heroic act took place here. Yet today, the park radiates a sense of peace.
여기서 윤봉길 의사가 포탄을 투척을 했을 때 그때 장개석 그 국민당 당수가 무슨 이야기를 하냐면은 그 당시 국민당 군인이 100만 명이었어요. 우리 100만 대군이 하지 못한 일을 한국의 한 청년이 해냈다 해가지고 그걸 높이 사요. 그때부터 임시정부에 대한 지원도 하고 자리 보존도 하고 예산도 주고 그러니까 윤봉길 의사의 업적은 대단히 크지요. 우리 임시정부가 계속 중국에서 활동할 수 있었던 튼튼한 기반을 만들어주었던 그런 큰 사건이라고 할 수가 있습니다. 그래서 이렇게 매화가 많이 심어져 있어요.
And on one side of the park stands the Yoon Bong-gil Memorial Hall.
목련.
Everyone participating in the program paid silent tribute to Yoon Bong-gil here. Looking around here, we tried to imagine what Yoon Bong-gil must have felt as he entered this park with bombs in his hands. He must have felt great fear at the time. Yet, driven by his wish for Korea's independence, he overcame that fear and summoned his courage. Korea's independence must have been more precious to him than his own life. After Yoon Bong-gil's heroic act, the Provisional Government of the Republic of Korea faced a difficult situation. Japanese surveillance and repression had intensified. In this situation, the Provisional Government had to make a major decision. They decided to leave Shanghai and relocate elsewhere. Where would the Provisional Government go next, and what path would it take? This story continues in the next episode.